I am Dr. Sanjive Tyagi, Associate Professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Swami Vivekananda Subharati University. Today I will discuss how to use the functions in Python. Generally, functions are used to decompose larger programs into smaller modules so that we can manage them, organize them easily. Another feature of function is reusability of the code. Once we have defined the function, it can be called many times as it is required. In Python, a function is a group of related statements that perform a specific task. Functions helps break our program into smaller modules. As our program grows larger and larger, function make it more organized and manageable. This is one of the important features of function. It organizes the program as the size of program grows, and further it avoids repetition and make code reusable. Now I will discuss some example of program. See, this is a simple example of a function. In this case, this is the remark representing here definition of the function, and see, this is the part of function, or you can call it definition of the function. In Python, the keyword def is used before starting the function. Hello is the function name and this is the parameter. In the case of Python, there is no need to specify the type of or data type of parameter. That receive the parameter from the calling function, and this is the message, this is the statement which we are writing in this case in the function. Now, how to call the functions? The name of function is here, this is calling the function, and the parameter which we are passing is this Ravi. When this statement will be executed, this Ravi will pass to name and output will come, output of this program will be hello Ravi. Now I will discuss another program, how to calculate the simple interest using function. Program to calculate simple interest using function. Now, first of all, we will define the function. We will give the definition of the function. As we know, the function starts with the keyword def. And the name of function I am taking here is S. Is a, you can take any name. The function name is the user defined. I am taking here SI. And this function should receive three parameters, like one for principal, another for the city, the time and rate. Fine. After this, we will specify a colon and press the enter key. Now we'll use the formula of simple interest. This is SI. This is P multiplication of R multiplied by T divided by 100. This is the formula of simple interest which we are using here. And we'll use here statement return SI. This is the definition of the function. Now we'll call this function. I'm writing here this calling of function. First of all, I have to accept three parameters from the user using input statement of the Python. That is, I am taking here one variable p. This is for principal, and I am using int function, and this is input, enter p. This. See, normally input function receives the value in a string format, and to convert it into integer value, we are using the int function. And another parameter which I have to accept here, this is rr, int, this is input function, and enter, this is the message, r. And another parameter which I have to accept, this is int input, enter t. So we have accepted here three parameters. On the basis of these three parameters, we are calculating the value of simple interest. Now, calling the function. We are calling this function using a statement like I am using a variable res to receive the value of simple interest, which is calculated by the simple interest function. Now the function name is here si. So I have to call this si function, and I have to pass here three parameters. This is p which I have received, another is this is t, so we'll take here tt, and this is r. Fine. Now print function to display the output. Simple interest, double quote, comma, and this variable is containing the result, so I will use here res. Fine. Now I will explain you how this program is executed. When we execute the whole program, first of all, this line will be executed. For example, this is, I am explaining here try run. How program is executed in computer system that I am explaining on the board. For example, principal amount I have accepted is 1000, and this RR value I have inputted here, for example 10, and time I can take any value. This is again I am taking, for example, in this case is 10. Fine. After accepting these values which I have taken in these variables, I am showing as try run. Now this statement will be executed. See, the value of pp is, I can show you, this is 1000, and the value of tt is 10, and this is again 10. When this statement is executed, the value of this pp is transferred to this p, copied to this p. Now this p is now 1000, and the value of this tt is copied to this t. This is 10, and the value of this rr variable is copied to this r. After receiving the values, this statement is executed, and si equal to 1000 into 10 into 10 divided by 100. So in this case value is 1000. So SI is containing the value 1000. By this value is calculated by this statement. Now return SI statement is executed. When this statement is executed, the program controls goes back to the statement from where it was called. So the value of SI is communicated to this RES variable. Now RES variable is having the value which I have shown here. This is 1000, and after this statement will be executed and it will display the output simple interest. The output will be displayed here, simple interest 1000. This is one of the example how to use the functions. See, feature of this program is that once you have defined this function, you can call it as many as times as it is required in your program. Now I will discuss another function, another example. Now I will discuss a program to calculate the factorial of any input number without using the functions. Then I will discuss the same program by using the functions. Then I will discuss various application of making the function and can be called as many times as it is required in the program. In this case, first of all, I will input the value. For example, this variable I am taking here int, and this is input, enter any number. See, in the case of Python, we should always remember that no need to specify the data type as data type is must in the case of C language and Java language. It is not required in the case of Python. This is one of the good feature, important feature of this Python. Now, I have to calculate the factorial of this number. I am taking one variable RES, which will contain the factorial of this input number. I have assigned the value 1 here. Fine. Now I will use the for loop for I in range. This is a format of for loop in Python as already I have discussed with you. And this one I am taking and n plus 1. And I will use here semicolon. As I press the enter key, the cursor will come here. Now I will write the statements which will execute under this for statement. I am using this variable res equal to res multiply I. This will calculate the factorial of input number. And now if I want to print the value of this res, I will use here print result. This is res. Now I will show you how this program will execute, how this program will give the factorial of any number. I will show you with the help of this dry run. See, as I will run this program, first of all, this statement will be executed. And for example, I have taken n equal to 3. This is the number for which I have to calculate the factorial. And the value of this variable is, I have taken, this is res equal to 1. Now for I in range 1 comma n plus 1. So this for statement will work I in range 1 comma n plus 1, value of n plus 1, this is 4. So the first value of this for loop will be here I equal to 1, and when this statement will be executed, this res equal to res into I, which is 1. Fine. Now this loop will be repeated again. The value of I equal to this 2, and this statement again will execute, and res equal to res multiplied by I. The previous value of res is here, this is 1. Now the new value of I is 2, so this is 2. Now value of res is 2. Fine. Again this loop will be repeated. Then value of I equal to 3. And this statement will be executed. Res equal to res multiply I. See, we will put the previous value of res, which we have already calculated, is 2, and the value of I is now 3. So this is 2 into 3. This is 6. Now see, this loop will execute it 3 times, and when the value of I equal to 4, it will exit from the loop. So we have got the value res equal to is 6. After executing this loop 3 times, this will exit from the loop, and this statement will be executed, and the output will be displayed like result, and value of res, this is 6. This is the output of this program. Now I will show you the same program by using the functions. Now I will discuss calculate the factorial of any inputted number using function. See, now I am writing the remark here. Calculate factorial of inputted number using function. The same program I will do with the help of functions, which explain you the quality and reusability feature of the function. See, function always start with a diff keyword, and the name of function I am taking here is facto. Facto is the user defined. These function name are always user defined. You can take any name, as normally we take the variable's name. In the same way we can take the function name. Only one parameter will be accepted here. This is n. Now I will use the colon here. As I will press the enter key, the cursor will come here. Now I will write all the statement which I want to execute for within this function. I will take one variable res equal to 1, which will contain the result, which will contain the factorial of inputted number. Now the for loop, which I am using to calculate the factorial of this variable. So I will use here for I in range, and starting value is this 1 and last value is n plus 1. Again I will press here this colon. As I press the enter key, the cursor will come automatically here. Now I will write all the statement which I want to execute under this block, under this for statement. I will use here res equal to res multiply I. I have already explained you working of this statement in the previous program, how this statement is calculating the factorial. When the execution of for loop will be completed, then the value of factorial will be stored in this res variable. So now we have to return this value of res to the line from where it will be executed. So I will use here, I will write this statement, return res. Due to this indentation, this res written here, some ahead, and this written here. So this return res statement will be executed after completing all the steps of this for statement. So these are the statements which I have written in this factorial functions. Now I will calculate, I will write the block from where this function will be called. So I will write the remark here, calling the function. Fine. I will input one value for which I have to calculate the factorial. This is int in the function to convert the string value into integer format. This is input function, enter any number, fine. Now finally I will take one variable r which will receive the value, which will store the value of calculated by the function. R equal to the function name is facto, and I will use this parameter. The value which I have received here I am passing to the function. Fine. This is the statement which is normally used to call the function. Now I will print the result, output. This is, I will write here print facto of, and then this, the message, then the value of variable, again a string message. I am using here equal, and this comma the value of factorial. This is r, this is stored in r. This is the program. Now I will explain you how this program will be executed using this dry run. See, when we will execute this the whole program, first of all this statement will be executed. For example, in this case n equal to 3, I have inputted. When this statement will execute, then I assume that I have inputted here n equal to 3. After this, the program will execute this statement, and see, I have taken n equal to 3, and this is the calling of the function. When this statement will execute, the program control directly jump to this definition of the function, and this value of n is passed to this end. This is separate variable, this is another variable. Now this is n equal to 3. This block will execute will calculate the factorial of this n, which I have shown you in the previous example with the same value, which is 6. After completing this for loop, this res will contain the factorial of this n equal to 3. Now, after completing this for block, this return statement will execute, then program directly go back to this value. So this value of this variable res is now copied to this r. This is 6. After this statement will be executed, which will give you the output facto of n. I have taken n is 3. Then this equal sign will be printed, equal, and value of r will be displayed on the monitor. This is 6. So this will be the output of this program. Now I will discuss another example of the function and what is the quality of function, how the function can be called or executed as many times as it is required, and it avoids the repetitive task by making the function. This concept I will explain with the help of this program. Now, for example, question is generate the following series. This is factorial 1 plus factorial 2 plus factorial 3 plus factorial n. So it means we have to generate of all the numbers where input n from the keyboard. In this case, what we'll do, we'll call the function, this function repetitively to execute, to calculate the factorial of 1, 2, 3. So now I will discuss this program. See, the function definition of factorial, for calculating the factorial I have defined once. I will use the same program, same function. I will make it a little shorter so that res equal to res multiply this I, and then I am using here this return res. Now sum of series. Okay, so in this case, first of all, input the last term of the series into this n variable, n equal to int, and this input, enter, and this is the input statement to accept the value of n, the last term of the series. Now, what I have to take, one variable I have to take sum equal to 0 to calculate the sum of all the factorials which I have calculated using function. Another variable I am taking res. Another variable I can take r. Variable can be taken by any name. In this case, I am taking rr equal to 1. Fine. For loop I in range 1 comma n plus 1. This loop will be executed n times, and I will use here colon. Normally, as I will press the enter key, the cursor will come here. Now I will write all the statement which I want to execute this following. So now this for loop will give you different values between I and n. So I have to calculate here factorial of I equal to 1, I equal to 2. So I am calling the function r equal to, this is calling the function factor. I will use the term, this is I. If value of I is 1, the factorial of 1 will be calculated, and another term I am using here to calculate the sum of series. This is sum plus RR. And another statement I am using here to display the result of factorial. This is print factor of I comma equal to comma RR. This variable contains the factorial. Fine. These three statements I am writing under this for block, and if I want to print the sum of the series, then I will write this statement outside this for block. So I will write here this print sum of series comma this is sum. This is the complete program. Now I will explain you this program again with the help of this drag run. Okay. I will explain it on the board how it is executed. When I will execute this program, first of all this statement will be executed. Let us say I have taken this n equal to 3. It means what I have to do, I have to calculate the factorial of 1 plus factorial of 2, factorial of 3. This I have to calculate. The last term of the series is this, in this case is factor 3. Now see how it will work. Sum equal to 0, RR equal to 1. Now for I in range, see value of I is 1 here and n plus 1. What is the value of n? This is 3 plus 1. It means in this case this for loop will be executed 3 times. First value of for loop is I equal to 1, second value I equal to 2, and third value I equal to 3. Fine. After this statement will be executed. This is RR equal to factor I. Now what is the value of first value of I is 1, and program directly jump to this factor. Now this is 1, and this block, this function will calculate the factorial of 1. As we know, factorial of 1 is always 1, so RS will have in this case 1. When this statement will be executed, the program control go back to this statement. Now this RR will have this 1. So I am showing RR equal to 1. After this statement will be executed, and this will give you sum equal to sum plus RR, and value of sum is I have taken here this 0, this is 0, and value of RR I have calculated is 1, so value of sum is 1. Fine. Print. This statement will print here. Now this statement will execute factor of 1, and this is the statement equal to 1. Fine. Now after executing this statement, that for loop will repeat again. Now value of I is 2. So now this statement will execute again for value of I equal to 2. When this statement will execute, program again will jump to this part, and value of n is 2. Now this for loop will execute for I equal to n plus 1, then it means 2 plus 1, and this will calculate the factorial of 2, And as we know, factorial of 2 is again the 2. After executing this function, we'll get the value in RES is 2. After this execution of this statement, the program goes back to this. Now RR will have 2. Fine. Now this statement will be executed. Sum equal to sum plus RR. Now the previous value of sum is already, you know, this is now 1, and value of RR which already we have calculated is 2. So we'll put the value of RR, then it will be 2, this is 3. So sum equal to 3. Then this statement will execute, it will display the output on monitor like factor of 2 equal to 2. Fine. After executing this statement, again the for loop will be executed. Now value of I will be 3. I will show you here another step of try execution. This is now I equal to 3. Fine. Now this statement again will be executed. Now value of I is 3, and program again directly jump to this function definition. Now this n will be 3, and this block will be executed again. Now as the value of n is 3, this will be 3 plus 1, and this block will give you the factorial of 3. As we know, factorial of 3 is 6. So RES will contain the 6. When this statement will be executed, program go back to directly from where it was called. This is, it will come to this statement, and the value of RR will be 6. This is 6. Now this statement will be executed. So RR I should write here in, now value of RR is 6. Fine. Now this statement will be executed. This is sum equal to sum plus RR. See, what is the previous value of sum? As already we have calculated, this is 3, and what is the value of RR? This is 6, this is 9. So sum is 9. After this statement will be executed, which will display the result like factor of I. And what is the value of I? This is 3. Then equal symbol will come as it is, and this is 6. Fine. As we have value of n equal to 3, so this block, this for loop will execute 3 times. Now execution of for loop is completed. Now as I equal to 3, now this statement will be executed. Output of this statement will be this sum of series. This will print the sum of series fine, and then sum which we have calculated is 9. This is the final output of this program. So you should know this program is displaying all the factorials which lies in the series. As I have inputted value of n here is 3, so it will calculate the factorial 1, factorial 2, factorial 3. If I input n equal to 100, then it will calculate all the factorials which lies between 1 to 100, and it will also calculate the sum of series. So this is the beauty of function definitions. We can call it, as many as times as it is required. And this is also one of the important feature of function is reusability. So what we are doing, we are at this statement we are reusing the functions many times. How many times? N times we are reusing the functions. Fine, this is one of the important feature.